I'm telling this now because someone listening still has time. I don't tell this story often, not because it hurts too much, but because I'm never sure where it actually begins. Some people think it starts the day my son was born, but I think it started long before that. Back when I still believed that love, by itself, was enough to keep people close. Back when I thought, if you stayed, if you tried, if you gave everything you had, people would stay too. I've learned since then that love doesn't always work like that. Sometimes it teaches people how to leave. I was 27 when he came into my life. I remember standing in that hospital room like it happened yesterday. The lights were too bright. The air smelled like disinfectant. Everything felt fragile. When the nurse placed him in my arms, I didn't move. I was afraid that if I breathed wrong, I'd break him. His fingers wrapped around mine. They were warm, stronger than I expected. And in that moment, something locked into place inside me. I remember thinking, everything I do from now on has to be right. His mother stood beside me, exhausted, but smiling. For a while, we were a family, in the way people imagine family should be. Sunday mornings, shared dinners, plans that stretched years into the future. But life doesn't care much about plans. She got sick when he was still little. Not suddenly, slowly, the kind of sickness that moves into your house quietly and never really leaves. I remember the way the rooms felt different before she even passed. Quieter, heavier, like the walls were listening. When she died, I didn't know how to explain it to him. How do you tell a child that the person who loved them most won't be coming back? So I didn't explain everything. I told him she loved him. I told him she was proud of him. I told him she would always be part of him. I didn't tell him how quiet the house became afterward. I didn't tell him how loud grief can be when no one else is around. From that day on, it was just the two of us. I learned quickly how to live tired. Not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that settles into your bones and stays. I worked during the day, cooked at night, sat at the kitchen table, helping with homework, even when my eyes wouldn't stay open. I burned meals. I missed school events. I forgot birthdays once or twice. I still regret that, but I never forgot him. Every morning, he waited by the door for me to leave. Every evening, he waited for me to come home. Same spot, same smile, like the world didn't really start until we were together. I remember teaching him how to ride a bike. He kept falling, skin scraped, tears coming fast. I kept running behind him, one hand on the seat, one hand ready to catch him, telling him to keep pedaling, telling him not to look down. At some point, I let go. He didn't notice right away. That's the thing about being a parent. You let go a little at a time, and they think they're doing it alone. He grew fast, too fast. One day, I was tying his shoes. The next, he was tying his own tie. For a school dance, I watched him become someone I didn't need to protect the same way anymore. And I told myself that meant I was doing a good job. I worked overtime to give him what I never had growing up. A stable home, a quiet neighborhood, a chance. I told myself that if he had options, he'd be happy. And if he was happy, then I'd done my job. We didn't talk much about feelings. That's how I was raised. You show love by being there, by fixing what's broken, by keeping the lights on and the bills paid. He went to college, out of state. I remember helping him load the car. I kept handing him things he didn't ask for. Extra socks, a jacket, tools he'd never use. He laughed and said, "Dad, I'll be fine." I smiled. I always smiled. The drive back home alone felt longer than it should have. The house felt too big, too quiet. He met her. A few years later, she was polite, smart, ambitious. She loved him, and that was enough for me. When they told me they were getting married, I felt proud, honestly proud. I paid for what I could, stood at the ceremony, watched him promise his life to someone else. I told myself this was how it was supposed to go. After the wedding, visits became shorter, calls became less frequent. Life got busy. For him, I didn't complain. I didn't want to be that father, the one who makes his child feel guilty for growing up. Then came the conversation. They sat across from me at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped him with homework, where we'd eaten dinner, just the two of us, for years. He spoke carefully, like someone choosing words that wouldn't break glass. Dad, we've been thinking about the future. I nodded. They told me about a place, clean, safe, professional, an assisted living facility. The hallways smelled like disinfectant, the kind of clean that doesn't feel like home. They said it would be better for me, that I wouldn't have to worry about cooking or maintenance or being alone. I didn't argue. What would I have said? That I'd spent my entire life making sure he never felt alone? The day they dropped me off, he carried my bag inside, showed me the room. It was nice enough. Before leaving, he hugged me. A quick hug, awkward. He said he'd visit soon. I believed him. That was 3 years ago. Now, I eat dinner. At 5, I take my pills. On time, I make friends who disappear quietly. Moved, hospitalized, gone. I keep my phone charged. Sometimes it rings. Mostly, it doesn't. I don't hate my son. I need that. To be clear, I know life is complicated. I know he has responsibilities. But at night, when the lights are out and the room is quiet, I replay things. I wonder if I taught him too well how to stand on his own, if I made myself too unnecessary. I remember the bike. The moment I let go, I remember thinking that was love. Maybe it still is. But some days I wish I'd held on a little longer. If you still have your father, don't wait for the right moment. And if you're a father like me, waiting quietly, you mattered. You still do. If this story felt familiar, share it. Someone out there needs to hear it tonight.